Today's movie is brought to you by DITA. If you ever need the word of animal rights bashed or clawed into someone, always count on the Druids of DITA. Now, on to the show.
Job's a joke you broke, your love life's the away. It's like you're always stuck in second gear. When it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year. But I'll be there for you. When the rain starts to fall, I'll be there for you. I'll be there for you. 'Cause you're there for me too.
Animal cruelty. It's a tricky subject to talk about, especially when it involves science and the need to help humanity. Just where do we draw the line when it comes to the humane and inhumane practices that occur? Well, I have no place in this really, but to me, it just makes me ask questions whenever I see this sort of stuff. I mean, seriously, what's the point of hurting animals like this? How exactly does this help whatever sort of problems we have? Really, to better explain the problem I have with all this, we're gonna look at a horror movie that likes to lay it on the line. This is Man's Best Friend. Yeah, because nothing says man's best friend than a killer dog, right? Of course, given the kind of things that go on in this film, it's more like what happens when you take the one creature most loyal to humans and turn him into a weapon that kills that very same being. Will it be good, or will it be overly preachy? Let's find out. We begin at the Emax research facility, home of some of the most deserted hallways ever put into a film. Pretty eerie. We then see one of the few scientists of the film, Judy, getting in contact with TV personality Laurie, played by Ali Sheedy. Judy agrees to letting Laurie come to the facility, at the cost of $500, to get the story on the animals being tested here, despite this possibly costing her job if they shut this place down later. But anyway, she then goes to check on the animals while learning Spanish.
How are you, Mrs. Perez?
¿Cómo está usted, señora Pérez?
¿Cómo está usted, señora?
How are you, Miss Perez?
¿Cómo está usted, señorita Pérez?
¿Cómo? Shut up!
Not the best time to learn a new language when the animals are screeching in your ears.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to meet you.
Mucho gusto en conocerle.
Ugh, damn it. Okay, if an animal cage was open, in the middle of a room with other caged animals, would your first reaction be to look at it awkwardly and check it out? Or to run for the door, lock it, and call for help? 'Cause, you know, the escaped animal might be dangerous or infected with something. Just saying. There, you see? You're dead now. That's what you get for being an idiot. Cue mystery guy with trank gun, and next scene. Laurie chats it up with her coworker Annie about animal rights and the meaning of getting the story.
What do you know about animal rights? You have a parrot that can't stand you. It's topical, it's hard-hitting. I think I can do something significant with it. You know, do an expose. Who knows what goes on in that place?
It doesn't make sense to shoot the whole story on spec. We should just sell everybody on the idea first.
No, because they're just gonna go and put somebody else on it. The only way we're ever gonna get to do anything real around here is if we just shoot the story and blow their socks off with it.
Yeah, not like those questionable stories you see on the National Enquirer. A real story is the one you buy from the source. Sadly, when her contact is unable to show, on account of death and all, she decides to simply sneak in. Seriously, why have a large building if your staff size is smaller than that of a local office building?
Hand down the roll. Look, they took her ear off.
And this is the kind of pointless pain infliction I was talking about. What research project meant to benefit humanity requires the ear of a rabbit? What, are you seriously trying to regenerate it? And, oh no, really? An orangutan with its brain exposed? What is the point to this? Why expose it? How is that gonna help us in the long run? What, are you examining brain tumors?
Yes, sir, Dr. Jarrett. Meet me around back. I got some specimens while you have me take them to the lab.
Oh, and that's Lance Henriksen, by the way, as Dr. Jarrett. You can tell he's the villain from the smoke coming out of his mouth. My god, they're trying to clone too!
What's in here? Did you see what was in here?
Let's just get out of here.
Here we have a rare, extinct dog.
I don't think you should be doing that.
I'm gonna check him out. It's not gonna do anything.
I'm with Annie. Seriously, do you not know the dangers of sticking your hand into the cages of animals? They might bite you and even infect you with something you can't cure and possibly spread to the entire world, thereby causing a worldwide apocalypse. You know, like in Resident Evil. Also, to everyone here, we all know that this is the dog we saw killing earlier. And as soon as that device breaks, it's only gonna end up...
Your rooms are ready.
Do you have us both in frame?
Okay, so apparently it's not gonna bite her face off, which makes me wonder why it attacked Judy then.
Is this dog really a noble sacrifice, donating his life for the betterment of mankind? Or is he simply an innocent victim of the billion-dollar vivisection industry? And this shit! Max!
Yes, make more noise. I'm sure no one is going to hear you. Oh, what do you know? Smart dog, stupid people.
What the hell are you doing here? Max. Max, you scared me. I'm not angry with you, I'm just tired. Max. Final command. Enter.
What is it, a robot? Well, the DVD box seems to indicate it, but no, it's not cybernetic. So Max escapes and decides to hitch a ride with the two bimbos who are also escaping. So of course, Jarrett talks with police detectives, one of them played by Robert Costanzo, who also played Detective Pollock from Batman the Animated Series.
Exactly what kind of work do you do here?
I do genetic research, often using animal models.
Talking about vivisection?
Yes, I am. Look, the kind of research I do here is about saving lives. Human lives.
Well, you're not doing a good job at it. I mean, one of your experiments just killed a woman, and you're about saving lives? Bull crap! So we see Lori and Annie trying to figure out what to do with Max when they're jumped by a mugger.
Come on, what else you got?
Nothing! Don't do that!
You got any tools? You wanna watch me mutt? Woof!
Yeah, you know you're screwed when the dog comes out to play, and apparently it's smart enough to even bring back her stolen purse. As for what he did to the mugger, will be a bit of a plot hole for later. For now, Lori decides to keep Max, which doesn't go well with her boyfriend Perry. Hey, it's Rick Astley! Okay, it's Frederick Lane.
Great guard dog.
No, we're not keeping this dog. It's like a 600-pound dog, Lori. If he's that well trained, he's got to belong to somebody, right? They're going to want him back.
Maybe. I feel a lot safer with him here after what happened to me tonight.
Lori, you're always doing this to me. Do you know that?
So after an argument, he agrees to let her keep Max for a while as long as they keep him outside, which after doing so, they make with the sexy time. Ooh, cock-blocked by a dog. Of course, once she settles him down, they get back to it. What is his deal? Perry isn't exactly the worst boyfriend in the world. He's certainly a lot better than your last owner, so why this constant barking to a guy who just wanted to have sex? Wait, does that mean... Ew! We see Jarrett further explaining to the cops how important it is to get Max back, while being a little bit freaky.
I've given a dangerous and experimental animal a neuropathic drug to keep him stable, keep him calm. When that drug wears off, he is gonna snap.
Hey, don't do that kind of shit in here.
We're sitting on a time bomb. And you're talking about going out and dusting for princes.
Oh, tell us how to do our job.
You don't get it, do you? Max is fragmenting. He's coming apart. If I don't get him tonight, he's gonna go through a psychotic episode.
Gee, I wonder what he meant by that.
Sorry,
Nah, that's normal. So now we meet Laurie's neighbor Rudy, who turns out to be the source of Mr. Ed's vocabulary.
Today's word is fart face. Can you say fart face?
Anyway, he soon meets Max, and even asks to take him by his house, where we meet his dog Heidi. And judging from the reactions from both dogs, I think you know perfectly well where this will go. And then we meet these two.
Don't mess with the pros, hairball.
Hey, chill, flea bag, or I'll stun gun your butt.
We're the comedic dog catchers. We have no purpose in this film other than to make quick laughs. Aren't we awesome? Ha 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 ha! So Detective Frank and his partner Emilio learn about the disappearance of Judy and how she worked for Emax. So they decide to visit Jared and even learn exactly what he was doing with Max.
Each of these animals is endowed with a specific desirable trait that is dedicated to their survival. If you took the DNA from each and genetically spliced it into the DNA of a breed of a dog, you would have a magnificent creature. Enhanced sight, hearing, strength, speed, even a chameleon-like capability to camouflage itself if threatened.
So if this is the genetic research you were talking about, how does that explain the missing rabbit ear or the exposed orangutan brain? Again, I have no place to say this as I know nothing at all, but based on what he said, it seems like all that's done here is altering DNA. So then why the room with the random animals, the injuries, and the vivisection? How does that fit into his genetic research? It's like this movie threw in all this animal cruelty that isn't even related to the experiments this guy is doing, just for the sake of exposing animal cruelty. We then see Rudy and a random friend walking Max when they run into the neighbor's cat Boo. And like typical kids, they sick Max on him. So knowing what Max can do, how shall it die? Death by decapitation or getting ripped into a bloody mess? What the hell was that? You had him swallow a cat whole? What is this, a Chuck Jones cartoon? Why on earth would you have a dog do that? I expected the cat to die, but not like this. That's just stupid. Yeah, I hope. So, Laurie and Perry have their moment together. Okay, so the police find the body of that mugger from before, and of course he's in a bloody mess. Which begs the question on how Max could clean himself of all that blood, which isn't exactly easy and just seems like a cheap way to keep hiding the fact that he's vicious.
I don't think this city could survive a multi-million-dollar lawsuit Because you went off half-cocked.
Half-cocked? Somebody died here.
This was a predator that preyed on innocent people. People that have to cower in their homes. Because you two are standing around bullshit.
Eat shit.
Max doesn't deserve a bullet. He deserves a medal.
I'm convinced he's definitely thinking on the level of a vigilante, but much worse. I know people need to be punished, but if we just go about killing those people without proper reasoning, we'd be no better than them. So after some exposition on how long before Max starts killing people again, we get another reason to why postmen can be such dicks.
Try something, you son of a bitch.
Ooh, slow-mo. At any rate, another scientist of Jarrett's finds the tape that Annie dropped the time she was at the facility, which leads Jarrett right to the studio where she and Laurie work. Fortunately, he doesn't get far, but now Laurie has to do something with Max. Speaking of which, Perry tries to poison him with rat poison while she's away. Can't really blame him, but then again, he is doing this behind her back, which might bite him later. On the other hand, Max is hiding his kills behind their backs, so what do I know?
How you doing? Look what I got for you, huh? Look at that. Some nice steak tartare from the restaurant.
Well, that was close, but we still need someone to die. And of course, it's Mr. Ed. You know, the minute Laurie sees the cage and the feathers, there's no way she can cover for you.
Max! Hey, Max! Come on, boy. Come on, boy. We gotta go for a ride.
Well, she'll have to go in the house eventually. Meanwhile, Frank and Emilio come to the conclusion that Max was responsible for Judy's death, and it's backed up with some history on Jarrett and how he basically does illegal experiments, prompting them to get a warrant on him. And as an added bonus, we see how far he'll go to get what he wants. What was my line here? So Laurie takes Max to the junkyard where she decides after a little conversation with Ray that he should live with him for a while until things get better for them. And given what he said, it looks like things will be fine. I mean, he looks like a nice guy.
I said settle down, you worthless piece of dog shit.
Oh, how stupid of me. Of course he's a bad guy. God forbid there being one person in this movie outside of the main cast who isn't an asshole. Animal cruelty is everywhere, man. Even more evident by what this guy is about to do.
Boy, now you gonna get it. Come on, boy. Come on, Max. I'm gonna burn your head
Oh, you shouldn't have done that. Now you're really screwed. Ooh, right in the balls. Oh, hey, there are more people working here after all. But anyway, this is for a transition back to the TV studio where Jared gets the information out of Annie to where Laurie lives. Also, a little while back, Perry called Laurie to tell her about Max nearly killing him, which would eventually lead to this scene.
But I was feeling kind of bad, you know, because I know how much you miss Max. And also, I figured now was my chance to get a dog in here that I like too before you brought home another monster.
Well, it looks like things are better between them now. Although, if he was the first to come home, how come he didn't notice that Mr. Ed is gone? Hell, how come Laurie doesn't notice either? What was the point of having a parrot if no one is going to acknowledge it ever again?
Acts like a spike. Watch this. This is his favorite thing, this plug. Go get it.
Plot point. So Max sees what has happened. By the way, nice makeup, you guys. And decides to do what he's tried to do so many times this movie.
Ooh, nasty.
So the police show up just after Jared, who is forced to leave, all while Lori and Rudy confront the now crazed Max. This results in the police force going after him and even calling in the 2 dog catchers from early on in the movie.
Run him over!
Green screen powers activate!
Yeah, puppy. Good doggy.
Alright, I know it was already brought up that he could do that, but otherwise, why didn't he ever try doing that before? Also, why did not kill those 2? What, were they not annoying enough for you? Harry is taken away, and Lori is to stay in the house as Frank thinks Max will come back for her. That night, as Frank goes to look for some anchovy pudding, he hears something outside and goes to check it out.
This is murder!
Oh, and Emilio's dead too. What a shock. So Jared takes Lori hostage as he hopes to lead Max back to Emax with her.
Why didn't you leave me alone?
What about those animals at your lab? What about what you're doing to them?
They mean nothing. The project is...
Well, you brought it on to yourself for doing these things, though given how easy for a TV reporter to find out, I'm surprised any other activist group didn't come in sooner. Max catches up, there's a struggle which leads to the car flipping over. Lori, having survived the crash, runs inside and arms herself. The 2 come to a standoff and it looks like it's gonna be epic. Or human compassion will break genetic coding and cause Max to be good to her again. But sadly, Jared isn't all that convinced.
Get away from my dog.
So with that, Lori mourns the loss of Max. However, life must go on as months later, she and Spike are living out their normal life. Heck, even Rudy's dog had puppies, so all is good in the world. Or is it? You know, for a horror movie about a genetically altered dog that kills people, it wasn't all that scary nor suspenseful. Instead, I felt like I was getting the typical animal cruelty message that too many films have, but here it shoves it right down your throat! On top of that, I felt that it really didn't connect with what methods to be expected with that of the villains. Like they only edited it in for flavor. Max is hard to sympathize with, given how even before his breakdown, he needlessly attacked people who weren't even that bad or needed to die. Plus, given how he tries to hide what he did, just makes him seem like a cruel person wanting to keep his innocence. Other than that, while the effect work is nice, Frank Welker good with Max's vocal work especially, this movie is pretty bland. The characters aren't really interesting, the acting pretty fair, and again, the plot not at all too scary. The only accomplishment this film had for me was that it made me question more on how animals in research are treated, and even if it's not entirely accurate, I still find it messed up and maybe even pointless. Really, don't bother with this one. It's not worth it. However, stay tuned for next time when we look at something fun, memorable, and familiar with everyone. I'm the Media Hunter, media's my prey, and reviewing them my way.
And they called it puppy love. Oh, I guess they'll never know how a young heart really feels.
Don't tell anyone I said this, but Yukiko Amagi's missing and we kinda think she's the killer.
Huh?
Yeah, and...